What is up, YouTube land? Let me get my camera all situated here. It's awful bright. The sun's out today. I'm not used to that. Back away from this camera a little bit. Maybe it won't be so overexposed. Try to figure this out, guys. What's up, Mud Pie? Good to see you. Glad you're on here. Maybe you won't be the only one that shows up today. Trying to find the best angle so I'm not blinding you guys with my bright colored face. Sitting by this patio door. The sun's not shining in here, but it's a blue, clear sky day, and it's just bright, I guess. So, oh well, just part of it. So what's up, guys? I hadn't. Has it really been a week already? It seems like I was sitting here 2 days ago doing a live stream video. Maybe today my live stream won't get so far behind. If it does, guys, I'm sorry. Maybe it'll stay up a little bit. Good morning, J.M. at the Nut House. No, my face isn't cold. Just trying to not be so overexposed. It's just so bright. I apologize. I'm trying to fix it. I mean, it is really bright. It's not that bright outside. I mean, it is bright outside. I just said it is bright out there, but this side of the house is shaded. That's a little better. Maybe I'll turn and put my back to the fireplace. So what's up, guys? What's been going on? Been trying to catch up on a lot of the live stream feeds lately. I went forever. I wasn't able to catch any of them, and it seemed like last night all I did was watch everybody else's live streams. And I hate that I can't do these in the evenings. It's just so hard with my schedule, man. I don't know how some of you guys that do live streams do them at the same time every week in the evenings. Our kids are just too busy between kids and work. There's just no way that would work out for us. I'd love for it to, but oh well. I guess that picture looks a little bit better now. It's still bright on this side, isn't it? JM says, LOL, my husband shaved his beard and my daughter wasn't having it. She didn't like it. Yeah, my daughter didn't either. But I only had a beard for, less than a month, and it took me a couple of weeks to get it to grow. So, they're used to seeing me without a beard. It's been that way for their whole life, especially my daughter. Well, Fuel Homestead, I know. I mean, I'm not watching it, so I figured I'd go ahead and come on here. I know we probably won't have a large group, and if we don't, we don't. It's no big deal. I don't have cable. We've just got Netflix, Hulu, so I'm not watching the inauguration right now, so I figure there's probably some people that aren't either, but oh well. If we have a small group, we have a small group today, and oh well. Hey, we were talking about those, about your Homestead conference on Tangie's channel this morning, and man, I'd sure love to be able to come. I just don't know that we're going to be able to find the funds to do that. It'd be cool. It's just a long ways to Virginia from Oklahoma, and it's an awesome deal. I'd love to be there. It'd be awesome to go get to meet everybody and see everybody in person, because I mean, if you hadn't noticed, every chance I get, anytime I'm passing through somewhere or we're in an area or somebody's coming through, I do my best to meet up with people, because it's really cool to get to meet you guys. And you watch all these people on YouTube for weeks and months, and you get to know them really well. But then when you actually meet them in person, it's a whole different deal. So I don't know. It'd be nice. I just don't think we're going to find it in the budget to fly out there, go to the conference, and fly home. So sorry about that. So, I don't know. And Chicago, what? Am I competing with Chicago IL? What's that? Yeah, Fuel Homestead, it is a long way. A lot of people are splitting rooms, etc. I don't blame them. It's just too far for us. Hmm. I don't know. I mean, even the one in Tennessee that Patera from Appalachia's Homestead puts on. Um, I mean, when we drove to Nashville for Christmas, it was about a 12-hour drive to Nashville. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the conference is farther on east, so we're looking at a 12 to 15-hour drive just to get to that one. And we're just, I would love to. It's just not in what all my entire family isn't all in on that, so they wouldn't have as much fun as I would probably. But oh well. Yeah, Mud Pie Girl says it feels like family. Yeah, it does. I didn't really expect that when I started post. Okay, so my YouTube adventure started a long time ago. I mean, like 4 or 5 years ago. But when I first started posting videos, it was only like what Weston and I were doing hunting related. So it was the only videos I ever posted were hunting videos, and I might post two or three during the deer season, and that was about it. And it was just a way for me to be able to share with personal friends, the videos of Weston getting to kill his deer and Weston killing a pig and things like that. So I didn't really get into the whole community aspect of YouTube until probably December of 2015. So a little over a year ago, and started making videos and putting them up on a regular basis that weren't just hunting videos, that were, farm homestead lifestyle type related videos. And and I didn't really expect the community aspect of it to get so awesome. It's just really cool. The community side of things. You said it feels like a family, and hey, I'm telling you what, it really does. I mean, it is like a family. You get to know these people, even people that aren't um, uh, other people that aren't putting out videos, that aren't making content to put up on YouTube. Even just your subscribers, you get to know these people, and then the others that are putting out content, they're doing the same things you're doing. You get to this friendship with them that you feel like. I mean, like Tangi for instance, she's you know an awesome person, and I just kind of got to know her through YouTube, and then we talk all the time on there and talk back and forth in text, and we just got to be really good friends, and their family is awesome. I'd love to be closer to them. We'd get along great, but I mean, it's just cool the people you get to meet. Sorry, I'm all stuffed up, guys. Allergy problems. You wouldn't think there'd be things causing allergy problems in January in Oklahoma, but apparently there is. Uh, oh, Mud Pie Girl says I'd be coming from Chicago, Illinois, if I went to Virginia. Okay, I thought you meant I was competing with something like Chicago PD, Chicago Fire TV shows. Thought I was competing with something because we were talking about the inauguration. So my bad. Only Prepper Homestead. See, there's another person that's not watching the inauguration. We got 14 people. I mean, hey, it's a small crowd, but it's a crowd. We're all banded together and not watching the inauguration. No reason not to. I don't have any reason not to. I mean, I'm all for Donald Trump, and I support him, and he's our president, and I see what he can do. I just don't have cable TV, so I'm not watching it today. I'm sure I could probably stream it live on YouTube or Facebook, though. I'm sure it's probably streaming live somewhere. Fuel Homestead said the community is amazing. That's what we love most about it. Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's cool to see your channel grow, and I'd be lying if I didn't say I don't want my channel to grow, because hey, it's extra income if it grows enough. But it's just neat. I mean, you just get to know the people, and the community aspect of it is way more than I ever expected. So it's neat to see it expand, and there's always channels popping up that they may have several thousand subscribers and have been posting videos for 2 years about homesteading stuff, and I just find them all the time. I come across channels, I'm like, man, how did I not know about this channel? They're just awesome to watch. Like Homesteady, I've been watching his stuff a lot lately. Have you watched that channel, Homesteady? Neat channel. The guy had a podcast for a long time before he started posting videos, and it's just they're awesome videos. He does a great job. And then let's see, the other one, and I've actually started talking to just private message on Facebook lately. I started watching. It's a channel that Justin Rhodes is pushing pretty hard right now. Is Better Together Life or Better Life, Better Together Life. Bo Brotherton. They live in Texas, and they're a family that's trying to leave Houston and move out into the country. They've already bought their land. They just haven't been able to move there yet. And it's an awesome channel. I started watching him. I don't know, probably a month before Justin Rhodes started talking about him. And he does a really awesome job at putting his videos together. He does a great job. I mean, he's a video producer, so he's top quality production, on the side of things. But their content's really cool, and it's kind of exciting to get to see these people that are still living in the city and and trying to move out, trying to get started. So I mean, there's a lot of channels that pop up on the screen, like my channel for instance, didn't start before I started doing this kind of stuff. I mean, I'm not an expert at it, but this has just been my lifestyle forever. So it's cool to get to see those guys make that change and grow. And their channel is blowing up, man. They're just growing like crazy. But hey, if you got somebody like Justin Rose backing you, that's pushing you out there on their channel with 100,000 subscribers, it's gonna help. So, Homestead Dad says, "I'm watching you instead of the inauguration." Yeah, there's a few of us. It's not gonna be a big group today, but I appreciate it. My neighbor's calling me. I'm just gonna have to call him back later. He's probably wanting to come cut some firewood. I told him a couple weeks ago he could come out here and cut firewood, and then it's been raining and nasty, but it's starting to dry up, and he's probably wanting to come cut a little firewood. Vena Demon Slayer, what a cool name. I said, hey, I get to make your live stream for once. Well, I'm glad you made it. It's not going to be anything super exciting. I don't have a big plan of a whole lot I want to talk about, but it's cool. I like the live stream aspect of just getting to interact with the viewers and answer comments and questions, and it's a lot of fun. It's cool. I don't know how long I'll stay on here. My voice may not hold up for a full hour. Yankee Living, what's happening? Good to see you. Glad you're on here. We got another hardcore Homestead network follower that's not watching the inauguration right now, I guess. Fuel Homestead says Homestead was one of the first I found when I first got on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't find them early on. I just recently found them, and I don't know. Just the way YouTube analytics and the way YouTube everything works, when it pops up all those suggested videos on the side, it just never showed up for me, I guess. Fuel Homestead. All right, friends. Couldn't stay long, but just wanted to say hi since I didn't catch these very often. Well, appreciate it. Glad you came on. See you later. Homestead Dad said, your cheeks feel naked. Well, I don't know about naked, but I got this double chin thing going, and that beard kind of hides it. So I feel like I'm fatter without a beard. Does that make sense? Wheat Tree, it just now popped up on your feed. Well, you didn't miss much. I mean, we're just 13 minutes in, so thanks for helping out. Thanks for coming on. Tawana Land says, hey, Daniel, face looks good all shaved. I don't think so. I like the beard much better. I don't know if you guys follow me on Facebook or Instagram, but I posted a picture yesterday of a big old long burly beard. And that was I got an email yesterday. I'll show it. From Chicka Wolf Ranch. I don't know if this picture will show up on here. I'll see if I can get it to pull up. He sent me a picture. He said, this is what your beard would look like after a year if you didn't shave. Let's see. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it or not. Look at that. Now that's a beard. I wish I could grow a beard like that. There's no way. There's just no way I could get it pulled off. My wife wouldn't go for a big beard like that. So anyways, what's been going on around here? What are we up to? Well, It's January, late January. Need to get the plant. Need to get some stuff done in the high tunnel. I'm way behind. Tangy, good to see you. Women don't have the luxury of having a way to hide the double chin. Well, I'm sorry. Yours is gone though. You've lost 17 pounds, isn't that right? I mean, your face looks super slim. Your cheekbones are starting to pop out. Your videos look totally different than they did 6 months ago. Yeah, that's definitely a Robertson beard for sure. Teresa Dean, hey, what's up? Good to see you. Glad you made it on here. 18 people are all not watching the inauguration like we should be. So anyways, I got to get started on this high tunnel. So I've got everything cleaned out. You know, that hard freeze down in the single digits just hammered a lot of what I had left in there. But the kale and the carrots are still doing great. I've been juicing that kale like crazy. I mean, almost every day we've dwindled that kale crop pretty fast. But I'm fixing to order all the lumber to build some more raised beds in there because those raised beds just do so well. And I'm kind of torn because how do I want to build these raised beds? I've got 3 in there already that I made a video on, and they're made out of sheet iron, sheet metal, 10 inches tall with a wooden frame around the top to hold it all together. And they work great. I really like them. But holy cow, they were labor intensive. Those 3 beds took a full day's work for me by myself to build. And it's tough. They're hard to build. So I don't think I'll be building any more of those right now. So what I'm probably going to do is treated lumber. And I mean, everybody's got their concerns about treated lumber. But what do you do? Because I can build them. I'm going to build them out of 2x10 by 16 foot long treated lumber. And it's the only way they're going to last. I tried with, excuse me, guys. I tried with untreated lumber several years ago in my garden, and I got about a year and a half out of the untreated pine. It just is not going to hold up. There's no way. You could go with cedar, but cedar's going to cost. I mean, it would almost double the cost of my treated lumber. And then redwood, oh, that's not even a possibility. You know, if I wasn't building so many, I probably would go with cedar. That'd probably be the best option. Because it's not treated and have the chemicals and stuff. But I'm gonna put 3 more sets of rows of raised beds in that high tunnel, and they're 48 feet long, 3 foot wide, and 48 feet long, and that's a lot of lumber. I mean, I've sitting here been kind of drawing it out and figuring up all my prices. I called the lumber yard, and with 2x10s is a lot cheaper than 2x12s. Saves me about $115. But the 2x10s is still going to cost me close to $300 in lumber to build the raised beds out of. But hopefully they're in the high tunnel, so they're not going to be out in quite as much weather. They'll still have some water, you know, around the bottom where they'll make contact with the ground. But I lost where I was going. The 2x10s, I think 10 inches tall will be plenty fine. But the treated lumber, everybody's got their mixed feelings on the treated lumber. And does it leach out chemicals into the soil? And you know, I don't know. It is what it is. I want them to last, and that's kind of what I'm going to have to go with. Tangy said, are you going to try to grow new things this year? I always do. I always try something different. It's always cool. I mean, that's the fun of a garden is growing something different. I mean, I haven't actually gone through and ordered all of my seeds yet. I've still got a ton of seed left over from last year. So I need to kind of go through and inventory what all I need to buy. But I always try something new. Like this winter, I had those watermelon radishes in the high tunnel. And those things were awesome. I mean, they were really cool looking. They got huge, and they're not like a small radish. You know, the regular normal radishes, you have to eat them smaller. They get real woody. These were great. The watermelon radish taste awesome. I mean, so yeah, I'm sure I'll try some new things. I don't really know what I'll try. Wheat Tree says, I like the one you did at Danny's. Are you talking about the raised bed that I did like his out of the carrots? It's still doing great. Those carrots are doing awesome. They're not growing very fast, obviously through the winter. Danny's already harvested all of his carrots just about, and they were huge. Mine are, most of them are about as big around as my finger and about 3 or 4 inches long. They're just not near as big as his, but he's a lot better gardener than I am, so he's getting faster results. Little Beans Garden said, I did mine from brick, but this year I plan on doing 3 more, but from wood. If I had a source of some used brick, that would be a great option. They'd hold up forever. Um, but I don't have a source for used brick, and I'm not going buying new brick. Tracy Dean says, does cedar put off a chemical? Not that I'm aware of. Cedars, I mean, if it does, it's just the natural chemicals from the sap in the cedar, but I don't think it puts off any kind of chemical that'll harm your plants or be harmful to you as long as it's untreated. Just if it's just raw cedar wood, all you're going to get is just what's in the cedar itself. And if we have a lot of cedar trees in Oklahoma, and if you're looking at cedar trees that are alive and growing, when they drop their needles, you know, they're all. I mean, they're an evergreen tree, but when they shed their needles, there's always a layer of needles on the ground that nothing will grow. Nothing grows under a cedar tree. So yeah, when those needles, once that all that hits the ground, it does kind of keep everything else from growing. But I don't think that would be a problem if you were taking cedar lumber and planting a raised bed. Now, if you mulched with cedar, yes, it would definitely keep things from growing. Yankee Living says treated lumber doesn't have the same amount of chemicals that it used to. Yeah, and that's what I've heard. Everything I've researched said 20 years ago, 10 years ago, there were so many harsh chemicals in that treated lumber that you didn't want your food on it. But whatever they've done, they've changed up their chemicals. So, Urban Girl, good to see you. Glad you're on here. Hope you're having a better day than you did yesterday. Tangy, are your raised beds? You said yours are 10 inches tall. Are yours made out of treated lumber, or did you just use untreated pine? Wheat Tree says, why not just use boat Well, I don't have a source for boat lumber. I could use boat logs. I do have quite a few boat trees on our property, and boat will not rot. I mean, it's a good tree that won't rot. I mean, we've got trees standing around here we've got fence posts standing around here that have been in place for 50, 60 years that are made out of boat. It won't rot. It's good lumber. I don't have a source for boat, and I don't have a way to mill it, so it would just be logs, and I don't know. Homestead Dad said, I've got an appointment with the NRCS to get funded for a high tunnel. Any tips? Man, that's awesome. I hope it works out. I hope you get approved. I don't know what it's like in your state. I don't even really know what state you live in, but every state's a little bit different, and even county to county it can be different depending on your NRCS agent, whoever's doing the paperwork. But some states are a lot more highly competitive than others. Where I'm at, fortunately, in Oklahoma, there's very few people that apply for the grant, which I don't really understand why. I mean, it's too easy, too good to turn down. As far as any tips, no, not really. I mean, just do your research on the program and make sure you understand what the program's designed for, and that way you can kind of know what you're know what you're asking for when you go, because the biggest thing here was it was a grant for soil erosion to help prevent soil erosion, and they want you growing in the native soil in the ground. Now you can do raised beds, but they can't have a bottom in them. Um, but the main thing was it had to be put in a spot that the NRCS agent could tell had been used for agriculture for growing crops. So, I mean, it's in my garden. It was easy. So, if you've got a spot, I mean, at least with my NRCS agent, he wanted to be able to know that I wasn't a new farmer. That this wasn't something I'd never done before. which I've never done greenhouse, but gardening and growing crops and vegetables and stuff. He wanted to make sure I had, at least knew what I was doing. So, but good luck though. I hope you get approved, man. It's a good deal. It's a great way to get a high tunnel put up. Urban Girl says Daniel's looking so clean cut. Yeah, no, and I don't like it. I want the beard back, but oh well. Sorry guys, I didn't realize my comments weren't scrolling down. I'm way behind on the comments. Tangy said, "How do they taste? The watermelon radish? They're pretty. Are they spicy like cherry bell?" No, they're not a spicy radish at all. They're really sweet. They're not spicy. They taste like a radish, but they're not hot at all. Tawana, I mean, if you're not a fan of radishes, they still taste like a radish. They just don't have the heat. They're almost like a turnip, but they taste like a radish. Vena Demon Slayer said, I thought treated lumber was safe to use in the garden now since they no longer use arsenic to treat. They use copper now. And I haven't, I'm not an expert on that subject. I don't know. I mean, it just kind of depends on who's doing the research. Some people tell you it's safe, and some people tell you it's not. Living like Claire. Claire's in the house. Rain country. Okay, weird. I think my comment just disappeared in one of those instant holes. What are you talking about? I must have missed something. Rain country says, "Hi Daniel, finally making it here for a change. Missed the beard, dude." Well, I'm finally making it here for a change. This is 2 weeks in a row. I haven't missed my own live show. I think I missed it like 4 weeks in a row, or well, it's probably more than that because of work. I was working day shift on Fridays for a while, so I missed my own live show too. So don't feel bad. But thanks for coming on. Appreciate it. Sand Hollow Homestead says we're growing snowmen. Not here. It's about 60 degrees here. It rained all weekend. We just barely missed all that ice storm. I watched a lot of different channels posting videos about all the ice storms they had. And it was just north of us. We lucked out. We barely stayed above freezing, but we got about 4 inches of rain. Yankee Living says, "Okay, I have to head out to the dump. Oops, that's not politically correct. The transfer station. Good to see you, man. Glad you made it on here." My goodness, you guys are making a lot of comments. I can't get to the bottom of the comments, so I'm probably way behind in the news feed or in my feed here. Tangy says we used untreated, but we put them in last year. I'm sure they will be replacing them soon. Yeah, they won't hold up long with untreated lumber. Maybe you'll have better luck than we did, but ours didn't hold up at all. Urban Girl says, "Yeah, sorry guys, I was upset." No worries, man. I understand. I completely get where you're coming from. No big deal. We all go through those times. Man, I cannot catch up in the comment section. Jessica says, maybe not the best option for all. Built my raised beds from fence boards. Each bed cost me about $10, and they've lasted me 5 years so far, surprisingly. That's awesome. I can't believe they've held up and lasted that long. But if that sounds like a good investment. Mr. Rain, what's up? Mr. Rain's in the house. I'm gonna have to scroll down to the bottom of these comments. Holy cow. Teresa Dean. Well, then he's the best showing up soon. Everyone's waiting. Oh, y'all are all talking about Danny. Danny for president. I don't think Danny wants that job. I think Danny's happy where he's at. I don't think he wants to leave the country. Teresa Dean says, I was wondering if landscape timber is good to use. Yeah, I've talked to several people and seen several raised beds built out of landscape timbers. I mean, they're only, what, 3 inches tall, so you've got to stack them, and then you're going to have to drill holes and drive rebar pins down through them to get them to hold up. But yeah, they'll work. There's nothing wrong with landscape timbers. And they're treated, so they're going to hold up for several years too. It just, I'd have to do the math, but by the time, if you're going to do them, 10 or 12 inches tall, by the time you stack several of them and go around, there's a lot more labor goes into it. But I mean, you're using a lot of landscape timbers to get to that 10 or 12 inches tall. Urban Girl says, "Have you considered pallets?" No, not really. I don't really have a good source for pallets. There's some people around local that sell pallets. I could go buy them, but uh, if I can't get pallets for free, I don't think I'm going to use those. Um, I don't know. And as bad as this sounds, and there's nothing wrong with pallets if you're going to bust them apart and use them right. But I want these beds to look good. My wife's really big on, we want this. I mean, the greenhouse, she wants it to look nice, and I do too. I understand. I want it to look good, and especially if I'm going to be posting videos about it and talking about it, I kind of care about the way it looks. And most people that are just going to do pallet raised beds aren't going to take the time to take them apart and build something out of them. They're just going to use them for their function, which is fine. I have used them for like compost piles, making a square out of them and keep your compost together, and that works great. Teresa Dean says, I don't know, Daniel. He has an oval office or hexagon one. We talking about Danny here? Rain Country says, are the watermelon radishes easy to grow? Yeah, they were super easy to grow. I mean, any radish. I've had a lot of luck growing radishes. They're super easy. They're fast growing crop. The watermelon radishes are bigger, like a turnip. But they were super easy to grow. I started them from seed and then transplanted them into my high tunnel, and yeah, they were super easy and grow really fast. JM at the Nut House said, "What kind of brick were you referring to for a raised bed?" Well, I mean, I'm assuming we were talking about just brick like off of a home, that kind of brick, or you could use cinder blocks. Cinder blocks get really thick, so you're taking up a lot of space if you're going to do cinder blocks in a raised bed. And in my high tunnel, I don't have that kind of space to just give away. But we were talking about building raised beds out of brick, and I'm not going to go buy new brick. I would have to repurpose it off of somebody's house that had been torn down or something. Tracy Dean says, "Don't want it to look like a junkyard." That's right. I mean, I want it to look nice. I mean, that's part of it. It's sitting right out here next to our house, and I'm always constantly, anytime someone comes out, they see that high tunnel and they're interested in it, and they want to know what I'm doing when I've got a garden growing. They want to know, and most people live in town, and if they're going to grow something, they want it to look nice, and they want it to be a part of their yard and not be a junky area. So when people come out to see my stuff and I'm trying to convince them, hey, you need to grow a garden, hey, you need to grow something, you need to produce your own food, I want it to look nice. And I mean, that's what I'm about, is trying to help locals, help people around here understand how much of a difference it is in growing some of your own food. And if it looks like a junkyard, they're not going to want to do that at their house in town. So Mr. Rain says, I think we could grow radishes, dear, but grow them before the worms get them. Y'all have a problem. So I had a big problem with the cabbage moth in that high tunnel, and I'm gonna have to figure that out this year. Um, it's obviously now it's been so cold that I don't have any pest problems bug wise, but that cabbage moth was just hammering me. And I finally got some BT from my friend, my neighbor that does all the gardening and market. He's a market gardener, and he hooked me up with some BT and started spraying in there, and that stuff worked great. Wheat Tree says, "Have you been by the casinos for pallets?" No, Wheat Tree. Like I said, there's a guy in town here that buys pallets off of every business, and he buys them, repurposes them, rebuilds them, and then sells them. So he's got contracts with most all of our bigger businesses around here that have very many pallets, like the feed stores, co-ops, and anybody that gets very many pallets, he's got a contract. So he buys them from them really cheap, and if they're in good shape, then he resells them. And then if they're torn up, he goes in and rebuilds them and then sells them. He's got thousands of pallets sitting out there, but like I said, he's got a contract to buy them all, so very few people just give them away around here. Homestead Dad said, "Gotta run, catch you next time. See you later. Glad you made it on, man." Teal House Farm says, "Daniel, what's the best excuse you've heard from someone that pulled you over?" Oh my gosh, there's so many. I mean, I don't know. The best excuse? I don't know. I don't know. I try not to talk about too much law enforcement stuff when I'm on YouTube, especially live. Um, But I did have a girl tell me one time that we were on a divided 4 lane. Left lane's a fast lane, right lane's a slow lane. Speed limit 70 miles an hour on the right. Speed limit sign is on the right side of the road. It says 70 miles an hour. Stopped her in the left lane for speeding, and she tried to tell me that the left lane was a fast lane and the speed limit didn't apply. It's, I mean, whatever. Jam with the Nut House said, like red bricks, we're pulling out a huge walkway of red brick and was trying to figure out how to repurpose. Yeah, red bricks. Yeah, red brick from a road, an old road, or for a house. Yes, red bricks. I mean, why wouldn't they make a perfect raised bed? If you got a little bit of bricklaying experience or knowledge on how to do it, I wouldn't just stack them. You'd want to mortar them in place. But yeah, those would be perfect. I mean, they would make a raised bed that would be there forever. Raised bed, or Mr. Rain said, raised beds could be made out of cinder blocks, but spendy. However, the blocks won't rot, and you can move them around. Get the decorative kinds as well. Yeah, you can. And out in my garden, that would be a great option. But in the high tunnel, I mean, I'm only 24 feet wide, and if you've got a cinder block that's 6 inches wide, that's giving up a foot for every raised bed. You 6 inches on either side, so you're giving up a lot of valuable space. So it's just not real ideal in the high tunnel. Bumblebee Junction said BT is the way to go on the looper worms. Yeah, I mean, Teresa Dean says, "What is BT?" All right, it actually it's short for, and I'm gonna butcher this. I know I am, always do, but it's Bacillus thuringiensis, maybe something similar to that. It's just an organic herbicide, pesticide, not herbicide, organic pesticide. Um, Look it up and read about it. I don't know. I'm not an expert on the matter, so I'm not going to try to lie and say I know what I'm talking about because I got it from my neighbor, and that's what he recommended using in the high tunnel. So there you go, Bumblebee Junction. The very next comment said, "It's a human safe enzyme considered organic." Mr. Rain says, "Haha, Daniel, I didn't call you dear." Were you talking to your wife? I thought you were calling me dear. Yeah. Teresa Dean, oh my gosh, I had one almost rolling on the ground when I passed 4 cars in a no passing zone. My luck, the car holding up all the traffic was a town sheriff. Ooh. Teresa Dean, I'm not gonna read it. I told him I had to go poop, and there was just a store just ahead. He got back to his car, must have told his partner because all I could see was them going crazy. Well, usually you'd be surprised at how many people try to use that excuse when they're 2 miles past the gas station. They're on the interstate and they just drove past the exit. And the next one's not 10 or 12 miles, but behind them, they didn't exit like they should have. So that doesn't always work. Tillhouse Farm, see you later. Good talking to you for a little while. Mr. Rain says grow out of the block center as well. Yeah, I did that one time with like a flower bed when we had a little house in town. It had a bunch of cinder blocks, and as for a flower bed, and I started growing things inside the hole in the cinder block. But in the summertime, it dries out so fast you got to water it like 3 times a day, so it just wasn't real practical because that concrete cinder block just wicks that water out of there in no time in the heat in the sun. Rain Country, yeah, your local nursery should have BT. They ought to know what it is for sure, at least. Urban Girl says, I've noticed that a few homesteaders are building raised beds. Is it the season? Yeah, basically that's all it is. I mean, right now a lot of people are getting ready to start their gardens and everything, and that's just they want to get it done before gardening season gets here. So it's time to starting. A lot of people, not everybody up north, but us down south, it's time to get those seeds started. So they want to have their beds built before the seeds get ready to plant, or the actual plants get ready to go into the beds. Yeah, Tangy, I saw that this morning. She said I also learned this morning you can interplant basil to keep the cabbage loopers away. I saw that. That was really cool. Luke, I'd never heard. Luke posted that on your live stream earlier, and I'd never heard that before. So, but you'd end up with a lot of basil, I would think. I mean, if you're doing it throughout your whole garden. Chicka Wolf Ranch. He's the one that posted that picture. He sent me that picture yesterday of my big old beard. If you hadn't seen that, go check it out on Instagram or Facebook. It's awesome. I wish I could have a beard like that. Teresa Dean says, just got off a 38-hour shift and tired, and I did have to use the bathroom bad. A 38-hour shift? Oh my goodness, what do you do? That's a week's worth of work. Venus says, "Well, Maria, what are you planning on growing this year?" Yeah, I'm interested to see what all you do on. You don't have a lot of space, Maria, but I'm interested to see what all you can do on your little patio. I mean, I think if you plan it out right, you'll be amazed at how much food you can grow in such a small space if you're getting enough sunlight on your little patio there. Rain Country says, yeah, Daniel, how'd that go with the goat? How'd that go again with the goat? Well, you have to ask Maria. She's so much better at it than me. She does she sticks her tongue out. I don't stick my tongue out to make the goat sound. But you'll either have to go check it out on her channel, because she talks about it all the time, or you just have to go back and watch one of mine, because, yep, not doing it. Teresa Dean says, EMS firefighter. Okay, that was the 38-hour shift, so that's a long time to be on shift. But EMS makes sense. Around here, EMS and fire all do 24-hour shift. I mean, that's what their normal is, so I could see. But, I mean, they at least have a place to rest most of the time. Urban Girl says, talking with Big Bear about what to plant and put together, but I have to build the beds. Yeah, you're going to have to build something to get you elevated up, because it looks like you got like a little wall, and if you plant it down too low, it's never going to get enough sunlight. Teresa Dean, yeah, the crown of shame. That video. Oh, that's okay. So my channel, I'm not. I mean, yeah, I do try to get people into growing a garden and stuff like that, and people around me. I try to talk everybody into growing something, But I'm not an expert, and I don't claim to be on YouTube. And I mean, I have an idea of what I'm doing in the garden and stuff, but that crown of shame, that kind of video is what I like doing because yeah, there's a little bit of a meaning behind it, but it's mostly just fun. I mean, I'm here for entertainment. I mean, I try to make you guys laugh and just go on with the show. Maybe you'll learn something, but just try to keep it interesting. I am not a good teacher. There's a lot of other reasons why I'm on YouTube than just teaching people how to grow beans or can uh, something or whatever it is. I mean, it's all about fun. Mr. Rain says, Maria, raised beds regulate moisture. Containing your crops, sometimes raised beds can be used to regulate ground temperatures. Insect control, raised beds also allow ergonomic benefits. Yeah, the raised beds do an awesome job. I mean, they're just cool because they're elevated. So in the spring, they warm up a little faster than your soil does. So you're going to get to plant in them a little bit earlier. And what I'm planning on doing eventually, once I get my raised beds built, I won't need them. I won't need the second phase of the raised beds this year, but for next winter. So what I'm going to do is I'll build my raised beds inside the greenhouse because I lost a lot of crops this year when we got down in single digits. I'll build my raised beds, and then I'm going to take like PVC pipe and and uh, and and some clamps and put it on the sides on the outside of those raised beds, and then I can take a smaller diameter piece of PVC pipe. If I do like 1 inch or 3/4 inch on the outside, just a short piece, and then I can take like a 6 foot long, 7 foot long piece of PVC pipe that's like 3/4 inch or ½ inch, and make an arch, make a bow, and build little mini low tunnel greenhouses inside my high tunnel, and I can get a lot more frost protection inside the high tunnel that way. So that's part of the plan of why I'm wanting to do raised beds in there because they warm up faster. They get I can control the soil a lot better and amendments and keeps me from fighting so much grass. A lot of reasons, but mainly because then I can come in and do those hoops over the top of it, really easy. Urban Girl says, I like those videos too, Daniel. I like to make people smile. Yeah, I mean, that's half the fun of it. Sand Hollow Homestead says, you like getting your hands dirty too. Man, I love the garden, man. The garden to me and the high tunnel, most of that is a stress reliever from work. I've talked about that several times. I mean, it's a stress, it's awesome. I love to be able to get out in the garden and grow things. And with my job, I talked about this on the video that Dirt Patch Heaven put up yesterday, 2 days ago, 3 days ago. I don't know, when she was here and interviewed us and talked about our high tunnel. I said when I'm at work with my job in law enforcement, I don't really have a way of quantifying what I did. Like a house builder or a plumber or someone in construction, at the end of the day, they can go, here's what I built, and they can see it. In law enforcement, I don't really have a way of quantifying my results. I can't see what I did at the end of the day. I mean, they can go out and write a stack of tickets, but that doesn't just, I don't know, that doesn't do it for me as far as seeing the results. So like with the garden, I can go out and plant my seeds and see what I've done. It gives me a way to see results, and I love it. There's just something about growing plants and having a whole bucket of tomatoes or squash and going and giving it to somebody, and it's just awesome. Tangy says, yes, that's what I want to do for my raised beds. Yeah, even outside raised beds, you can do that, and they're just like little mini greenhouses. What I'll probably do on mine, though, inside the high tunnel is use the Agribond fabric instead of plastic so I don't get too hot. Change, says, when the creator is relaxing, having fun, the viewers can do the same. I completely agree. You can tell when you're watching somebody's videos if they're relaxed and having fun for sure. It takes a while to get comfortable in front of the camera, but man, it makes a big difference when you do. Wheat Tree says, Arms, you're a wonderful ambassador between law enforcement and the people. I really wish there was more I could do with that on YouTube. It's just a touchy, sensitive subject, and you can't really cross those lines very much. That professional side of things into YouTube, it's just real sketchy, iffy. I wish I could do more because there's a long ways that can go. I mean, there's a huge barrier in between law enforcement and the public in a lot of places in our country. And like I said in that video yesterday, whenever it was, there's a lot of people don't have a friend or a family member that's in law enforcement, so all they see is what they see out in public, and the perception is skewed a little bit sometimes. Rain Country Homestead. There's a scientific reason why gardening makes us happy that our Creator gifted us with. Enzymes in the soil release endorphins when they come in contact with our skin. I believe that. There's a reason God put man in a garden, and there's a reason Adam and Eve were placed in the Garden of Eden, and a lot of people don't see it. A lot of people have never done it and don't have that experience, and I don't know. It's just awesome. JM at the Nut House says, Tangy always makes me smile, so comfortable and fun. Yeah, her videos are just so much fun to watch. You can tell Tangy's a good hearted person by watching her videos. I just, she will make you she just makes you smile. Dang, I'm at the bottom of the comments, guys. I'm like kicking it on the comments right now. Probably skipped half of you guys' comments. If I missed your questions, I apologize. You can always just type it in again. I'll try to catch it on the second time around, but there was one. Mr. Rain said, Maria, try growing stuff in 5-gallon buckets at your place. That's a great idea. Just make sure you drill some holes in the bottom of those 5-gallon buckets so you don't overwater and have water standing in the bottom of those buckets. But yeah, 5-gallon buckets would work great. Grizz says, I have to admit I'm shy of law enforcement. Hey, and you're not the only one. And I'm not saying there's not a lot I can say, but not all. I don't know. There's good cops and bad cops. There's good doctors and bad doctors. There's good YouTubers and bad YouTubers. And once somebody comes in contact with one of those bad cops or somebody it may just be a bad day or they're in a bad mood. With law enforcement and the public, there's just that stigma. Once somebody's had that bad interaction with a police officer, a lot of people that's just what sticks out forever, and they just can't get past it. And that's what I wish I could do and talk about those kind of things. So Jessica says, what do you feel is a good cheap option to fill raised beds? In the past, I just put it on Facebook asking for free compost manure. Any other options that you could give that would work? Okay, so that's a tough one because depending on where you live, you may not have access to good cheap topsoil. I, I'm fortunate enough I can just go out with my tractor and scoop up some good topsoil. A lot of times I mean I've got the land to do it, but here locally there's places like our city limb yard. Everyone in town is free to bring all their limbs and things to the limb yard, and then they grind it all up, and there's just huge mountains of wood chips that have been setting, some of them for years. So some of it's broke down into compost, and some of it's still just wood chips, and that's a great source. So if your city has a limb yard, you might look into that. Ours is free. You can go pick that stuff up all you want for free on Fridays. So as long as there's compost piled up there, you can go get it for free. So that's a good cheap source here. Teresa Dean said, when God created man and woman, they were vegetarians at first. and all that glory of the garden. Then came in sin. From there, meat was a necessity. Uh, yeah, you're right. I agree. Um, God did give us domain over all the animals in Genesis, so it's not to say that that wasn't the original plan. But we were given dominion over all the animals, and we were told to take our bows and go gather meat. Urban Girl says, "Oh my gosh, Tangy, I didn't recognize you, dude. I'm fangirling. Shoot, hey, I got to meet Tangy, Maria. I got to meet her in person. So boom, yeah, I did." Bumblebee says, "Jessica, we use straw hay in a pinch. It settles some, but gives you room to amend later." Yeah, there's so many different ways you could do that on those filling those raised beds. I would not say go to Lowe's and buy a whole bunch of bags of potting soil and put in there because it's going to cost you a fortune. Now, a lot of times, what I'll do, like I'll take, like they said, you can use straw or hay at the bottom, or leaves, or anything organic as a filler at the bottom, and then you can come in with dirt off of your place and add in there. And then what I'll do is the top, 2 or 3 or 4 inches, I'll come in. I may go get some compost or some bagged potting mix and add in there to help boost it. Mud Pie Girl, Larry Hall says, Mud Pie Girl says, Larry Hall has videos about growing vegetables in 5-gallon buckets. Go check him out. Yeah, or go check out uh, MHP Gardner. He doesn't post videos anymore, but he's got a ton of videos. But all stuff he was growing in buckets was hydroponic, a Dutch bucket system. But it worked awesome, and he grew some unbelievable tomato crops in his high tunnel. Tangy says, "Well, I'm actually off to go to Goodwill to shop for some smaller clothes." That's a good problem to have. It's a good problem to have. That's awesome. You're losing weight. I'm sure it's just gonna keep on because you look like you're on the right track. Um, Maybe I missed something here, Mr. Rain, but it's all in caps. It says, "But Daniel, can you plant tubers?" Uh, what are we talking about? That I must have missed something. Can I plant tubers? Where? Um, Bumblebee says we filled the bottom of ours with old firewood. That's hey, that's not a bad idea. I mean, it's organic. It's going to break down over time, and it's a good filler. So as long as you're not wanting to plant something that grows down very deep, you could put some old firewood or sticks or logs or anything in the bottom of that. It's going to break down over time and add some good organic matter to your raised beds. And if it's old firewood, it may be partially broken down already. Teresa Dean said, "I saw a video on someone growing potatoes in a sack." Yeah, and there was I don't know if you guys follow a channel called Texas Prepper 2, and that guy did a lot of videos. He did several videos, maybe 2 summers ago, on growing in little, basically they're just like reusable grocery bags. He filled those full of dirt and grew in those, and it worked great. Let's see. Chris says, where was it at? I lost it. Chris said, "I got pulled over by a cop who told me I was going down a one-way street, and I told him I was going one way." Yeah, you're only going one way. Um, Bumblebee Junction says we have a video out on potato buckets. Uh, yeah, I have not had a lot of success with potatoes. That's one thing I'm still trying to figure out. I don't grow a lot of potatoes. The cop asked me if I seen the arrows. I told him I didn't see any engines. Oh, Grizz. Urban Girl says, God willing, I'll meet her too. Uh, and you smooth as a baby bottom face. Yeah, someday maybe you'll get to meet Tangy. She's awesome. Every once in a while, I'll try to scroll through my comments and it'll just skip, and I can't get back to where I was exactly. Tangy, we'll see you later. I need to get off here too. It's 11 o'clock. I try to only stay on here for an hour. Teresa Dean says, ladies and gents, we have a new president, y'all. Trump has been sworn in. Awesome. Hey, I'm happy. I voted for Trump. I won't lie. I think he can do a lot of good things for our country. Oh, Mr. Rain says I was talking about good cops, bad cops, good YouTubers, bad YouTubers. So I asked if I could plant tubers. Oh, okay, I got you. I didn't follow there. Went way over my head on that one. All right, guys. I think I'm gonna go ahead and get off of here and end this thing. I got to go to work today at 3 o'clock, so it gives me about 4 hours that I can actually get out and get something accomplished. It's a beautiful day outside. There's not a cloud in the sky, so I need to get some stuff done today because let's see, Saturday and Sunday I work day shift both days, so I won't be able to get anything done. So got about 4 hours I can actually get out and work today. So I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I got to do something. Just trying to make sure I didn't have any questions out there I missed. Uh, Angela Kidd says, "Do you think burlap bags would work for potatoes?" So those bags I was telling you, go check out Texas Prepper 2 and look for some of his gardening videos where he was growing in bags. He called them grow bags, and they were from another person, another company. They were actually called grow bags. They weren't just Walmart bag, the fabric reusable Walmart bags, but that's what they look like. But it should work. I don't see why not. I've seen potatoes grown in everything from buckets to tires and everything else. Susan says, "You poor thing, have to go back to work." I'm not complaining. I'm just saying I did have to go to work today, so not poor thing. I mean, it's a job. Everybody's got a job, right? We all have to work somewhere. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. I do appreciate it. And well, unless something changes or something happens, I'll be back here next Friday for another live show. And I enjoy it. Have a lot of fun. It's great to interact with you guys. And we didn't do bad. We're up to what, 20 people now during the live stream, and even though the inauguration was going on. So thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Now let's see if I can shut this thing off because last week it didn't shut off.